Hey there, folks. I'm in the midst of Comic-Con, but that's not going to prevent me from going to CSSBattle.dev and doing the daily target. Away we go. Look at that. So this is great. This is super great. So what do we got? To me, I think what we've got is two paragraph tags that are right on top of each other. It's a square, and one of them is rotated 45 degrees. Let's see if that is correct. So let's create the square element. And to do that, well, I can do this, and then I can do an aspect ratio 1. That forces it to be a square, and I like that technique a lot. I'm going to put a background here, and I'm going to set the margin so that it's the minimum rate, and then more margin 7, 8, 9, 21, 92. And so that's my square. So what are the pieces? I think what I want to do is a conic gradient that is going to have some variables in it. But for so conic gradient, which is at something like, so I'm putting the center of it at maybe 80 pixels over. Actually, we can measure. Let's measure. So it's going to be from here, which is what? It's 100 to here, which is 190. So at 90 pixels, and we'll just say that it's probably a square, 90 pixels. And our colors, I'm going to do it in multiple steps. The first step I'm going to do is a variable. Yeah, a variable. So var c, or this, and then that's 25% worth. So 1/4 of the conic gradient. And then the next quarter, I just know is this, 0, 50%. Great. And then the final bit is transparent to look through to the pink background. So that's how you get that. No, it's actually to 75. That's what I meant. Oh, no, not that's what 70 looks like. I wanted 75. Okay. So that's at 90, 90, and then that's in the upper corner. So that background position doesn't mean anything because our background size has not been changed. So let's change our background size probably to 110 by 110. And that gets us that crossways. Great. So I think this margin is going to be a variable as well. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that into a variable. And then the next part is also going to be a variable, or nothing, a var of c, or a default of radial gradient, which is going to be what? 20 pixels in the middle. And we don't need to use the keyword circle because this is a square. This element is a square. And then transparent. And then there's a comma. So that's how we get a circle. Now we need to, it's all fuzzy because we don't have the correct color stops. So let's create the color stops. 0, 40 pixels, and then 0. So we're not quite right. So does this mean to be less? 10, 20? No, 20 is correct. How about 50? And that is correct. All right. So our second element, here it is, plunk. We can't see it. Why can't we see it? Well, we can't see it because it's off the page. it's below. So, but if I set a background, so I'm going to set a background color of some ridiculous color, background color red, and then I'm going to set that margin to be negative so I can see it, minus 100. There it is. There's our square. So I want to make it perfectly covered. 2, 3, nope. 2, 5, no, 2, 250. 250? 250. Is that perfect? Okay, 250. Now I'm going to not do that background color. And --C is going to be, well, can I do that? Well, I think I can do it. Let's find out if I can really do it. But I need a rotated, so the color is going to be transparent, that variable. No, that's not right. Actually, I have two instances. So this is the G is the gradient. The C is the color, which is transparent, and the G is a linear gradient that's transparent to transparent. So we want an invisible gradient. There's a way I've done this is that. So now we have it, but now we need to rotate it. So we're going to rotate about 45 degrees. Or minus 45 degrees. There it is. Let's find out if we've got it. Well, let's find out. I'm not going to talk about it until we're sure. So 99.9%. So yeah, we have a little more work to do. What can we do to make this work? And is this going to work? I'll take a sip of drink here. So let's make this margin auto, which ruins the whole thing. And we'll say our width or our height is 250. I think that's correct. Oh, we got a mess on our hands. Super mess on our hands. Why is that? Because let's undo some of these things. Height. So we want height 250. And then I guess we need circle. And then oh, not loving this. Not loving this very much. Let's redo. Let's work with what we got. There we go. So what do we think we can change here? Unfortunately, I think this is all correct, and it's as good as this can be, I think. So it's a little bit, actually it's a lot bit disappointing that we're not at 100%. So we're 100 to what? Oh, it's 200. I don't know why I was thinking it's 250. Oh, because the negative margin. So that's why. So that was what was in my head. So let's do height 200. Okay, so let's try that. This shouldn't be any different, but I'd like to prove it. Or double check it, I guess. All right. What do we got? Yeah, that's no good. I don't see the difference. So, if that's true, what do I need to do to make this work? I'm not totally sure. What if the radial gradient is over here? So we do this conic gradient, and then we put the radial gradient on the second one. Okay, cut it like that. Great. And then we put the gradient here. Background. Like that. Okay. So then this is going to be a var dash dash g, comma, or this default. Like that. And then this is dash dash g. And then this is nuked. And this comma parentheses is not. So we're seeing some changes, but they're not totally great. All right. So that's not working at all. Why? Oh, because of this. Plunk. Nope, not. Var dash dash g or a default of that. Oh, and then this needs to be here. Oh, goodness. This is a mess. I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad code per se, but it's not wonderful. It's not my favorite. Let's look at. Okay. In terms of the simplest things, let's create the bar, three bars, and the circle. Okay, so one at a time. So again, we start the same way that we did before. Put the margins on the body, margins on the paragraph tag rather, excuse me. Height is, you know, it's 20, yeah, it's 20. Margins, 130, 40, 92. And the next one, PB, let's say, BC. So B, if we do actually, do we want to do a position absolute? And a margin, we'll set a margin to 0. And we'll do a width, whoops. Let's do a width of 200. Okay. Left is 100. Top is 50. 100. 20, 40, 20, 40, 40. Okay, so B is rotate 45 degrees or negative 45 degrees. Great. And then C is rotate 90 degrees. Great. And in between there, we need a circle that does the right thing. Okay, so that means we need which layer? And is there a way to do that that's simpler? That is aligned perfectly, though, so that's good. One thing we can do is an after, sneak it in. Now, an after is going to be a bad call, but the way that would look. Content. We need to put some content in it. We need to put a display block. We need to put a, background red. We need to do a height of 50. There it is. And then I just keep doing it. Width 50. Okay. And border 20 pixels solid. And then this color. This is not efficient. This might be how I leave it though. I've got stuff to do. 50%. Okay, and then that background is now transparent. Right. Okay, great. Okay. So if I move him over, so if I set some margins on him, margin 10, 30, 40, 50, 2, 3, minus 3, 4, and let's go ahead with that background in. Yeah, not very efficient. However, it might work. Height 40, how about 40 and 40? Or 50, no, and 60 and 60. Is that correct? Yes, it is. It needs to be thicker, doesn't it? How about 25? 50 and 50? How about 30? 30 pixels, 30, and so we make it a little smaller, 40, 40. That's my guy. All right, and now so now this is a linear gradient in the middle. Now I could make it force it to go through, but we're sort of like I keep adding stuff to this, and it's you know it's a little bit messy. I'll call this messy, but we already I think we actually had a very nice solution, but it didn't get the job done. 20 pixels, and then I'm going to need this in the middle. 0, 50 pixels, and then the pink again. 0. So 20, 21, 19, 18. How about use a Q unit? 18, 19. And then, what is this? 40 Q? 41? How about 41.5? How about 40.5? That looks better. How about 15.5? How about 20.5? 19.5. How about 19.1? Okay. And that's a solution. So kind of a wacky solution here. I'm hoping this is 100% and I can be on my merry way. That's a 100% match. So I'm not sure what the lesson is here. So these shapes and the back end of Chromium and Safari, maybe I'm seeing something slightly different with what I'm doing, but I'm going to end here. But this is a shape that there are many ways to do it. Each one of the things that are overlaying the other things could be done in different ways, could be done in more efficient ways. These are particularly inefficient, right? Using the after is very rare for me, but I needed to slid something in, but I wanted to keep the slash, the dash, right? The horizontal, the vertical, and the 45 degree or the negative 45 degree ones in place, like do those simple ones and then add an element, and that's the way to do it, because the correct order would be to make the circle the third thing, but then that makes things a little bit more complicated because I have to set heights and widths and then variabilize or make decisions about exactly how I'm doing that. So I'm happy with this solution. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Be good to yourself, be good to others, and go make a web page. And I might revisit this one. I probably won't. I'm having a good Comic-Con weekend, and I wish you the best. Bye-bye.